Welcome to the podcast. Nope, no good. Hi, I'm Chris Collier. Welcome to the podcast. No, I did it wrong again. Welcome to Conquer with Chris, the podcast you don't want to miss. Today I have a very special guest. I have Dusya. Dusya, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Dusya, tell them a little bit about your background, your upbringing, and things of that nature.
Sure. So I'm a holistic life coach and I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston, Massachusetts. Wow. So, how did you become a life coach? Let's get a little bit of how you got there.
Sure. So it started in 2014. My background has been actually in the medical field. However, in 2014, I started a journey of self-discovery. I was taking care of my parents before that. And because I was taking care of my parents, I was not really able to figure out who I am, what I want in my life. And also the issue was that my upbringing was not very, how should I put it, not very pretty, for to say it politely. And 2014, shortly after my mother's passing, I found a organization on Facebook where they offer meditation. And shortly after attending a couple of meditation sessions, my mentor recommended I take a training in Reiki, energy healing. And interestingly enough, I attended the training and I loved it. And I started doing a little bit of Reiki, and it was just amazing how my own transformation even started. I had PTSD, I had other issues, and doing Reiki just helped me transform my life, and it still does. And I just realized how many people I'm able to help with Reiki. And in 2018, moving forward, I started my business as this is Miracle Energy Healing because I had so many clients who were absolutely ecstatic about the results they had after a session with me, and that's how my business started. I just was amazed. I was in awe of all the possibility that this work does.
That's wonderful. That's great. So, when someone comes to you, typically, what should one expect when they're coming to see you for the first time?
So for the first time is what I do is generally free consultations. There's no exception to that. It can be if people want to meet in person, that's fine. We talk, or at least the client talks, the person talks, I listen. And after I listen to the story of the person, I just ask once in a while clarifying questions. And then I share with the client what I think they need, what kind of Reiki they need. And I also share with them, like from an outside perspective, what I think has been going on in their lives. And I have to say more like eight out of 10, I'm always spot on with my observations. And it just every time I have a client I'm talking to and they're like, yeah, exactly. And then they're like, that's what I had to hear. Thank you. And I'm just there to share with you what I hear. And after that, they say, okay, so what do you suggest? And I say, okay, this is what I think you should do. This is the kind of session I recommend for you. And I just tell them the process. And I say, you know what? We're going to do this together. If you're still not sure, we can do like a sample session and see how you feel. If you like it, we're on board. As long as just making sure that everything is all right and they say yes, this is great. And again, 8 out of 10, they want to do more. And it's just amazing the transformations that I've experienced with clients. Just beautiful.
Wow. So, for those who don't know what Reiki is, explain to them what that is, because that's I'm sure it's probably not new, but it's new to people, some people, right?
Yes, right. Sure. So Reiki is actually an ancient healing modality originally from Japan, although it's now being rediscovered, quote unquote. And what I do is for an in-person session, I generally have it can be verbal consent or written consent. They choose how they want to be touched on the shoulder. I touch them on their head, shoulder, and feet. However, I can either do it from a distance if they're sensitive to touch, or actually just like a pat on an arm. and the client decides how they want that to happen, and that's what we discuss. And after that, I asked a question to the client like, do you want to talk about your day? Or they said, no, we just can start. So, and if they want, we can do a meditation beforehand. Again, up to them. They can do meditation. We sit together in silence. If they don't want to meditate, they just want to have their eyes closed, that's totally fine. And even then, after let's say 10 minutes or 20 minutes of meditation, they have a more clear idea of what they're looking for in the session. And after that, they either sit in a chair, or you can lay down as well, but the same process. And I just stand there. I ask them what they want to work on, if they want to share. And if they say, you already know, we already talked about it, okay, because sometimes they want to add something. And then they just lay there, and it happens often that they fall asleep because they feel so comfortable. And I just take my time, like for example, 20-minute session. If they want 20-minute session, I do 20 minutes. I let my intuition guide me on, to be perfectly honest. I start with their head first, and then slowly I move to their shoulders, and then to their feet. And sometimes they feel it, sometimes they don't, and they're just so relaxed. It's like they're spaced out. And sometimes they just don't even realize that they were falling asleep.
Wow.
And yes, and after 20 minutes, I just gently say, hi, just gently, I fell asleep. Yes. And I just let them sit there just so they can just, not, I don't want to say recuperable, but just so they can just readjust to what happened and say, oh, I'm sitting in a chair. I'm here. I'm with this person. Okay. I just give them space, and I just sit there and just wait for them. And if the silence gets too awkward, I say, I'm just giving you space. They're like, oh, okay. Because they're just so new to it that someone actually is being respectful towards them.
So
And yeah.
after a couple of these, so when do people start seeing results? And what kind of things, first of all, let me ask this. What kind of things do people ask to get worked on? That's the first question, I guess.
The first question, what they like to get worked on, it varies. Some people are just overwhelmed with their life. Like I had a client who married, grown adult kids, but he had the business of his own, but he was doing everything by himself. He had all this weight on his shoulder. And after 45 minutes, he just felt rejuvenated. He woke up and he looked like he just won in the lottery. another another client I had, she had actually trauma. And I have to say, I work a lot with clients who are recovering from trauma. I had a client, she had trauma from an assault that happened a few years ago. And I also offered the same, also I did the same for treatment for a friend of hers. However, for her, because of her trauma, was having body image issues, and she wasn't eating healthy. And interestingly, the next day after the session, she was having breakfast, which was mind blowing. And it was like, it said, by the way, I had breakfast, like, and okay. And she said, I haven't had breakfast, I don't know how long. Wow.
Wow. So you get all different types of clients.
Yes.
And the results, I guess, are from miraculous to nudges, right? That nudging
Yes.
in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, that's good. So tell us a little bit more about during COVID. I'm sure you had to pivot, right? A little bit. May you do it through Zoom or something?
Yes, that's correct. I had to pivot it only a little bit though, because I've been offering remote healing as well before COVID happened, and people were like, remote? I don't know. Everybody was like, I don't know, remote. I mean, how do you do that remotely? And I was trained in remote, but I knew that people were skeptical. They couldn't understand how that could possibly work. And so I offered, okay, we can, like on my Facebook page, I offered them audio chat, video chat, whatever works, or Zoom, as you mentioned. And again, I just do over Zoom if they want to do Zoom. I listen to their story, to what's going on in their life, share them again my perspective and ask them questions. And again, I do the same process. However, here is a little difference. I tell them wherever you are, you can sit in your chair or you can lay down if you want to. They ask me, of course, should I lay down on my couch or on my bed? I said, that's totally up to you. I'm over here. I'm sitting here. I'm going to do my thing, and you can do whatever you think is right. And they say, okay, I want to lay down. All right. And so then when they lay down, I just check in with them to make sure they're ready. And they said they're ready. Okay. So I decided, how much do you want just for 20 minutes, 45 minutes? They say, how about 20 minutes? Because that's just like, I have to go somewhere. Like, okay. So we do 20 minutes. And during the 20 minutes, I close my eyes and they close their eyes as well. And I imagine myself in front of them, like I'm in a dream state. I imagine myself in front of them. I meditate on their behalf, like I do a prayer or whatever you want to call it. And I just imagine myself sending them like sunlight, like when you in animated movies, when you see light coming from somewhere, I imagine myself sending them love and light, like white light or whatever light color light comes to my mind. I just imagine myself sending that light to them, and I imagine them uh, like an angel in this beautiful light. And I do this for as long as I feel is necessary. Again, I imagine myself instead of laying my hands on their head, I do that myself. And after 20 minutes, I say hi again, or something like that. And then I can hear that they actually dozed off, which is totally fine. And they say, how did you do that? I thought you were right there. And I said, and he said, well, how do you feel? I said, and some of them say they felt like they were sunbathing. Others say like they felt like they were being hugged, and they thought, I never been hugged before. Like, wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And sometimes I say, did you have this, like, how do you know you were not here? I I don't know. I just do it. Yeah, they're just amazed by, and then they just feel energized afterwards. And like, how would you? I just keep hearing, how did you do that? I just do it. I don't know. I just do it.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
Amazing. So, do people do things like even like they want to get their business started or something like that?
I had two clients who wanted to get their business started, and they were trying to figure out the. I can't even remember exactly the word that they used, but they were trying to figure something out, and they were saying they would just tell me about the problems, and I said, you know what? It sounds to me like you're overwhelmed because you're like, no offense, but your mind is like all over the place. You have your family, you have your children, you're trying to balance this out, and you're trying to figure out how can I stop this 9 to 5 job? How do I start my business? How do I get clients? And I said, okay, slow down your mind, come slowly. And then I recommend to them, that's what I see is happening. You don't have balance because you have like, I mean, you have a family, you want to have you want a job, you want clients, you want to take care of your family, you want to make sure that your family is taken care of, you don't want to neglect anybody. It's totally understandable, especially in our today. I mean, everybody's busy, you're overwhelmed. So here's what I can suggest to you. I can offer you a meditation session with me and Reiki will clear your mind. After, let's say, 20 minutes if you want, or 45 minutes, up to you. I'm going to do a Reiki session on you. And what happens to you is that you are just laying there relaxed and your mind is clear from it's like you have all this clutter in your head. Like when your closet is decluttered and you can't, and you start, I know I put my winter clothes there somewhere in these boxes. You have all these boxes in your head. I try to give them a visual, and they say, "Yeah, exactly." So, okay, the energy is gonna flush it out. It's gonna clean your mind, so you can focus better. So you can say, "Oh, that's what I have to do." And after a session, they're like, "I know what I have to do now. Okay, I see more clear where I was stopping myself." And like after 2 sessions, I mean, they want more, they can, but having 2 sessions, they know how to balance everything out. And I just give them then just counseling. As I said, I'm a life coach. So I just say, okay, this sounds like, how about you try this method? And I said, okay, and they, yeah, I just do from then on just counseling, and they just have it. Yeah.
That sounds great. How do you? So you're a life coach as well. So
Hmm.
what things do you run into a lot with a life coach? Like other than the meditation and Reiki, I know that's probably a specific niche for you. But
Hmm.
outside of that, what do you find that most people are needing in today's environment?
I use my life coaching skills a lot with clients who are having relationships problems. Like I have clients who are in partnerships and they're trying to figure out what's going on, why isn't it working the way it should work? And I just listen to their story and I say, okay, this is what this reminds me of, or this is what it sounds like to me. And say, yeah, that's true. And say, is it like some people are in relationships for, I don't know, 10 years and something is not right. And it can be either, I think it sounds like you are busier than him, or he's busier than you, or you're not really having time together. Like you should have at least an hour a day time, even in your busy schedules, to just be there together, just do something together, just so you can see that you are together, just to be present.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean that's so important in
Oh
relationships.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I was
it's
thinking
just
like sometimes it's even doing nothing together, right?
yes, exactly.
They
Just
could be
spending,
decluttering their
yeah,
mind together.
exactly. Just sitting together, just holding your hands together or something. And you're already feeling, oh, I'm at ease. My partner's with me. Everything is gonna be fine. That's all it takes sometimes, really.
Gotcha. So how can people find you?
I am on Facebook and Instagram. I also have my Instagram. It's a worldwide www.instagram.com dash last name slash and my first name. You can find me there. There's videos there, bunch of stuff I post there, and insights as well on my Facebook page as well.
Gotcha. Well, listen, do you have a favorite quote you want to share with the people?
Yes, definitely. My quote is, what I do is for myself, for example, I say thank you. Thank you to every day when something beautiful happens, I say thank you. And what I mostly think of is follow your passions.
Follow your passions and thank you.
Mhm.
That's great. This has been my guest, Dusya, and I want to thank her for being on today. And please like, share, subscribe, and download, depending on what platform you're on. If you're on YouTube, please notification bell and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day.